Welcome back to the channel. Oh, we need to have a chat, don't we, Tottenham Hotspur? We need to have a chat. Now, we like to do weekly shows. We normally do 2 or 3 shows a week. And there's been some ups and there's been some downs. In the last couple of weeks against Brentford and Wolves, the games haven't gone to plan. Take everything away from that. Take everything away to what's to come. There's 10 games left. We're just going to concentrate on this game itself because a few home truths need to be spoken. Tottenham Hotspur fans have gone quiet again. Their 5G's gone down. Their signal, there's nowhere to be seen. This happens quite a lot every single season. There's 38 games in the league, and Tottenham Hotspur get very loud for 2 of them. Arsenal at home and Arsenal away. And although they've been pretty poor for the majority of this season and last season, it didn't stop them from getting cocky. It didn't stop them from bringing some arrogance to the table. And Arsenal do what Arsenal do best. Eberechi Eze does what Eberechi Eze does best. Victor Gyokeres has now done what Victor Gyokeres has done best. And Tottenham Hotspur are feeling sorry for themselves. We're going to talk about the fan base. We're going to talk about how cocky they are. We're going to talk about where they're hiding now. We're going to talk about how they've changed their tune. And to do that with, I've got one of the best, and it's Mr. Lee Judges, who was there yesterday. So do me a favor, people. Hit like and subscribe. Make sure you're following OK Jersey. The World Cup shirts are out. Make sure you're using the code Lee for 8% off. And we are going to talk Arsenal and Tottenham. Lee.
The code has changed to 414141 this time. Right, okay.
I like it. I like it.
Bro. For this week. 414141.
Talk to me, bro.
Well, listen. I think, if I be really honest, I don't know how everybody feels in the chat, but we was owed a performance after Wednesday, you know. And listen, I've got to say, the interviews with Declan Rice, Mikel Arteta were all on point, but it didn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, talk is cheap. You know, had to go and respond to it. And my God, they did. My God, they did. You know, yeah, I'm not going to lie. I was nervous before the game. You know, the way that the Spurs fans were on about it. We're going into hell. It's going to be an atmosphere you're never going to imagine. That your players are going to melt under the pressure of the noise of the famous South Bank stand and all those Spurs fans and all their little bags and blue and white flags all down the end, and the noise. We was going to crumble. So yeah, I was a little bit nervous before what had gone before me on the Wednesday. You know, I mean, if we can put in that sort of performance on Wednesday, we can put any sort of performance in. Dan goes to the game, and you know, when you say about a game and you go, I can tell after 15 minutes whether we're going to win or lose this. Right? I felt after 15 minutes we was on point. We was playing really, really well. Goes 1-0 up. And I'm thinking, right, this is it now. Let's go and get a big score. Declan Rice, of all people, makes a mistake, 1-1. But what did we do straight away from there, Dan? Back up there, giving it to them. Like, there weren't no, what I would say, nervousness. It was like, even at the final, half time, the referee had to blow in the end because we was on attacking them all the time. And even at half time, I still felt if we play like that, we'll be all right. We keep playing well. Come out second half. Wow. Just absolutely blew them apart. Gyokeres' goal is sensational. I think it's one of the best North London goals I've seen. Yeah. The derby goals. I really do, Dan. It was like the ball from Timber. I didn't realise how good a ball that was until I see it back. The touch and then the finish. Oh, my God, like, you know. And then from then on, I'll big up Ronnie. Ronnie's in the chat, like, you know what I mean? I'm gonna have to. I admire that man. I admire that man. He does give it, and he can take it, like, you know. So big up to Ronnie. And then all of a sudden, it was like how many we was going to score. Dan, I'm so pleased we never backed off. Yeah, listen, I've heard a lot of people going on about the disallowed goal, and if I can see why it was disallowed, I could see why it could be given as well. Let's be honest, like that. But the whinging from the Spurs fans about that is incredible. I don't really remember them being that bad when they got a penalty against us in the 3-0 win, which was 10 times less than that, but they got a penalty for it, and it was like a joke of a decision.
On Cedric, was it that one?
Remember that? Go back and have a look at that,
Cedric
Like, so when
Suarez,
any
I do
Tottenham
remember.
fan moans about that goal, goes, well, I didn't see you giving that passion with the Cedric one, like, you know what I mean? Like, get in there, take it and hold it, you horrible lot. Take it and hold it. Because I've had to have that endured for 3 or 4 years. Now take it. And to see all them whinging about that makes it even better for me. Even better for me that that happened, like, you know. So end of the day, I honestly feel like, well, that was the big worry. The only worry that I had about this, Dan, and I'll be really honest about it, if I've got a slight concern about the game, and we can talk about that, is that we scored and we conceded straight away. And when we scored that second goal, within another minute, 2 minutes, they'd equalise again for it to be called as a foul. That is something that was a little bit of a concern. Other than that, who cares? Wonderful, wonderful performance from the players. The manager, I thought, got everything spot on with the decisions that he had to make. He had to make a couple of bold decisions in that game, and he did. And I think he got it right. And I'll tell you what, I know we can talk about Gyokeres, we can talk about Eze, you can talk about Saka, who, by the way, was outstanding. We've all had a little bit of doubts how good Saka can be. That was ended yesterday because that was sensational from him, from wide winging. This Van der Ven, I'm going to talk about him and all that. You know what I mean? He's got to be the most overrated player. That I don't rate him. I do not rate him.
Oh, really?
Okay. He should be playing basketball for a start, or sprinting for the for the Dutch national team. Like, you know what I mean? As far as I'm concerned, because as far as defending is concerned, he ain't top notch. I'm sorry, like, but I'll tell you who's top notch though. Mascara. He'd walk straight into their team. When he come on, I thought he was sensational, Dan. I know you got to go on big players and all that, but to win leagues and win games of football and do well, you have to have a squad. And he is such a pivotal part to our squad, whether he's playing right back or central defence. He has been sensational signing. Pound for pound, one of the best signings Arsenal had for a very long. Now, I don't know what's going to happen to him, how he's going to develop and all that, like. But at this moment in time, he's been fantastic, like, And listen, whatever happens in the league and all that put that to the side at the moment. It's 6 days of bliss. 6 days you can enjoy. You know what I mean? We ain't even got to be interrupted with a midweek game and where we got to go, oh, it's on now. We can just sit there and enjoy. And the unbelievable thing, Dan, about going to that game yesterday, it's a hostile place to go to, as you well know, like, you know what I mean? Getting in and out of that ground. I come out of that ground yesterday, I could have had a game of cricket. It was no one about. You know what I mean? Like, it was quiet. I went past the old elbow, no one hardly in it. We destroyed them, Dan. They sold everything about them. I know that, and what a funny fan base that is, like, you know what I mean? All of a sudden, all up for it and all that, like, and then by the end of it, totally destructed. Heaven.
Bliss, mate. Look, before we come into the individuals, because you mentioned some already, and I do want to mention them, let's just talk about their fan base, because, look, they've been an absolute disgrace this season and last season. I know they won the Europa League, but really and truly beating Bodo Gimp and whoever it's called and someone else in Man United's worst ever. Do you know what's funny, actually, just on that? I have seen Tottenham play in 2 of the European finals, and it has been the 2 worst finals in history of both competitions. In the Champions League final, which was over in 90 seconds, and the Europa League, which is one of the most horrific Europa League finals I've ever seen in my life, and Tottenham have been a part of that. But anyway, besides that, just going back in history, I was told that they were going to come and destroy our title race. I was told by Tottenham Hotspur fans that they were going to go and put in a performance that they'd be proud of, and that they were going to be able to come away with something that not only they need to try and keep away from relegation, but would derail Arsenal's title race. Then when it's done and dusted, Oh, you didn't think we were going to win that game, did you? When we've got 4 players to pick from? Well, what were you so cocky about then, you mugs? Or how could you sit there one day and say, I think we're going to take something here? And then the next day, when you don't, go, well, obviously we weren't going to because we've only got 12 players fit. Now, if I tell you this now, judges, if that's the other way around and I had 11 players to pick from in this Arsenal setup and Tottenham were top of the league and we were down the bottom, I'd be keeping very bloody quiet and
Yeah.
embarrassed. Mate. That's what I'd be doing. I'd be saying to you privately here, gee, I don't fancy this at the weekend, mate. I just want this to be over with, don't you? You'd be going, oh, Dan, I'm not looking forward to it, mate. But when it's them, oh, I think we're going to do something here. Igor Tudor has never lost his first game as a interim manager. Well, he has now. He's lost to us, right? Is the waffle I hear, bruv, is actually insane. And then Deji last night saying to me on the channel that he was quite encouraged by what he saw in particular parts of that game. And they are in the absolute mud if they've been encouraged by anything about yesterday. I thought they were a mess, bruv, if I'm honest with you. And I know what people are saying, and I know you've mentioned it now, but I'm going to shut it down. That foul on Gabriel that was or wasn't had absolutely no effect on what the result would have been. Because I know it might have gone 1-1 or it might have gone 2-2 or it might have been... They were not good enough to do anything at our goal, mate. And we should have been putting 3 or 4 more goals in. Yeah, Saliba missed a header which went wide, which I thought he should have done better with. You had Trossard who had a shot that went literally a millimetre past the post. Gyokeres had a chance that went millimetres past the post in the first half when the bloody referees decided their comms had gone. They had to wait 20 minutes to get that, which is another joke, by the way. I couldn't believe what I was seeing in my eyes.
No.
I know you were there, obviously. It's probably even worse when you were there. I was sat there on the TV thinking, well, Gary Neville was slagging them off like proper, saying this is a shambles, you know, what we're seeing here. Well, referees didn't have communication 10 years ago. They could still ref a game, though. What are we waiting for that for? Anyway, so there was chances that Arsenal had to go and score the goal. Saka had a chance as well. And I've got to be honest, that decision had nothing. But if you listen to the Spurs fans, they were quite encouraged. And at 2-2, they'd fancy the chances to go on and either win the game or take something from it. That was never a draw or a close game. There was only one team that were ever going to win that, if I'm honest. And although in the first half I thought we were sloppy, we're giving the ball away, Rice made that criminal mistake, which led to the goal, I still never thought we were going to be serious trouble. You know, I thought maybe if it was going to be trouble, it would be like us putting ourselves in the shit, which is what we did. But then when we went in the second half and blitzed them, I just thought it was thing. And then all you hear from the Tottenham fans now is seriously quiet. Now, let's just touch on that a minute as a Tottenham, as a football club, before we come to the game and who played well and what it means for us. Where are they going, Lee? Let's just say how it is for a minute, right? Let's have a chat on it for a second. Because I was told by the fan base that Daniel Levy was the problem. And that once he goes, Tottenham will be fine because they'll be able to finally be released from the shackles of Daniel Levy, who's held them back all these years. Well, I've been supporting football now for probably 35 years onwards that I remember of my 38 years in this lot and this earth. And in that 35 years, I've seen some poor Tottenham sides, if I'm honest. I think this is probably the worst that I've seen of Tottenham in that period of time. And I've seen some bad sides as well that finished 12th or 15th or whatever before. But in that time of Daniel Levy, they have found themselves playing in one of the most magnificent stadiums they're ever going to have with the size of their club. They have also found themselves in a title race with Leicester, albeit they come third in the titles race. They have found themselves in a Champions League final under Daniel Levy. And they have found themselves probably making history with some of their club legends, who they call in Harry Kane and Son, Gareth Bale, Luka Modric, players that we all know and we're quite jealous of in some seasons. Under Daniel Levy, they actually come close to not only beating us, finishing above us, but actually embarrassing us on some occasions. And I'm just glad that it's all over because I don't see that ever coming back at the moment. I think Tottenham are a massive problem. And I do not think it is a crazy statement to say that they might actually get relegated this season. It is only going to be West Ham or Forest being shitter than them that saves them because they are a crumbling mess, bruv. And I don't know if you think that's me going overboard or too harsh or sticking the knife in. I truly believe every single word of what I've just said. Now, I don't think Daniel Levy was unbelievable at Tottenham. And I don't think that he would be a player, somebody I'd want at my club. I thought he did a great job at Tottenham, but not the best. I think he did a good job at Tottenham, but not a great job. We got them there, but never really wanted to show the ambition to go there. He was close. He was trying, but not really going there. But I tell you what, they don't look like they're going to do anything at the moment. I'll tell you this now, they are an absolute mess, and they have got some ridiculously tough fixtures to come up. And they've got to fix up, and they've got to try and get some of their players back, but try and find something when they do get their players back to keep them in this league. Because right now, I think they're going to come close to getting. I don't think they will, but I think they're going to come close to relegation, Lee. I really do.
I'll be really honest, Dan. If this was the last season's league, Spurs would have gone down. The only reason they stayed up last season was because the three teams coming up were just good enough, and they all went back down. Right. This season it's been a little bit more competitive, and you are right. It's the worst Arsenal team that I've seen for a very, very long time. Yeah, sorry, Spurs team. It's the worst Spurs team I've seen for a very, very long while. The last 2 years is relegation form. There's no two ways about it. Daniel Levy, I think, and people slag me off when I say that, is they're going to regret it. Because under him, and we can say whatever they like, right, that they've had some of the great times. You know, they didn't win nothing, but they was unlucky not to win things. You know what I mean? Sometimes luck plays a little bit part in football. FA Cup semi-final against Chelsea, I can't remember the midfield player. Went to Manchester United. Matic. Not a goal scoring midfielder by any chalk of imagination. Scores a worldie at Wembley. Top. Could you remember it? Top.
Yep.
It's one, smashes it in like. You have to have a little bit of luck. Best Spurs team I've ever seen come trounce us in the last game of the season. Last season they had the old White Hart Lane 2-0. We got out of that. I got out of that game 2-0. Please, it was only 2-0. If I don't remember, Petr Cech had an unbelievable game. Otherwise, we'd have got done by 5 or 6. We never heard the last of it. So, all under Daniel Levy, as you say. Harry Kane, gone, 30 when he left Spurs? 30 was he when he left Spurs? We were selling players left, right and centre in their prime to keep the stadium. They kept their best player, Harry Kane, till he was 30. And then still got 100 million for him. Great bit of business. I don't think that the window that they've just had now was with no Levy, was it? Didn't really do anything that was spectacular, like when before, as you say, they brought in good players and some good players at the time. Under his tenure, they've brought in 2 managers that a lot of Arsenal fans could only dream about getting in, Conte and Mourinho. I was envious, not the Mourinho one, but I was envious at the ambition that Spurs were trying to get over the line at that stage. When people turn around and say, "Oh, they didn't have a go," and have a look at the managers that they tried to employ, didn't do any good, but they tried, and we was. At that time, we didn't know what was going on with Arsenal. We're getting Uri Emery, and then Mikel Arteta, who's never managed a team in his life, not managed one game in his life. We didn't know what was going to happen, but that is the case. They were getting winners and everything like that. It's a magnificent stadium. Funny now that every Spurs fan you bump into moans about the stadium. Well, welcome to the Arsenal world. We had that. We had it. And it is ties you down. I don't think you realise how held back we was because of that stadium and the financial implications of it, Dan. But here they are moaning and getting rid of him because they don't want that. Like, since they've moved into that stadium, right? They've competed financially with every other team in the league, right? I don't see them selling their best players. I see Van der Ven still there. I see a lot of their, as we said, Harry Kane is still there. Son played there until he was finished, till his legs are gone. we'd seen the likes of Adebayor having to go in his prime, Cesc Fabregas having to go in his prime, Nasri going in his prime. We had to endure Van Persie going to our biggest rivals in Man United. This is unbelievable what was happening to us. So be careful what you wish for, they say.
Agree.
And
they do say that. Grass ain't always greener, don't they? They do say that.
So I think at the end of the day, this could be
something I didn't want to forget on that point of Tottenham. Stadium announcer.
Go, yes, bring it up.
This is exact words of what was said before kickoff, apparently, to try and get the fans up for it. They're worried. They're nervous as hell. We're calm. We're ready. Rather embarrassing.
Rather embarrassing. It's shameful, like, you know what I mean? They put all their best goals on. They had that Claire Tompkinson coming out, whatever her name is, like best days and all that, like best day as an art. Do you know what she said was the best day as a Tottenham fan for her? Have a guess.
Not the 5-1 when they beat us.
No, the semi-final against Ajax. They lost in the final.
Surely it's when they won a trophy. Surely.
Didn't even mention their famous Europa League win against Man United. It was all on the camera. I couldn't believe it when she said it. The famous, and they showed the goals. They wheeled Dele Alli out at half time. We've got Alli, Dele Alli. The crowd was singing that like all around the thing. I don't know what happened where he went at the end. I think he went home. Like the Milton Keynes. So I'm looking there and I think, wow.
He's not even as. I think he's about my age. I think he's. How old is Dele Alli?
I'm gonna say, like, you know, all jokes about that, like, you know, Dele Alli, one of the best young players. The fall from grace for that boy is tragic. I've got to say that.
Scary,
I didn't like to see that. Don't get me wrong, it's tragic. So they've done all of this. They've put out all this stuff. Up comes the trumpet man, and he starts singing the Southampton song.
How depressing is that?
Oh, when the Saints go. No, they've changed the words. Incredible. Dele Alli's 29. That's tragic. He's 29.
Is he 29? Oh, my God.
That is tragic. Tragic. So they showed all these great goals. They showed the chip over at the Emirates 15 times. Do you know, Dan, the Emirates has been going, 22 years?
Yeah.
They've won twice there. Once in the League Cup and once in the league. We've just done 4 in a row at their place. But they're calm. They're ready for it.
It's embarrassing.
And for an announcer to say that, like, it reminds me of thing that happened more than that, how many years it was in the semi-final when there's 10 minutes to go in the League Cup semi-final. No, sorry, it was at half-time they was winning 1-0. Get your tickets for the final. This is how you get it, all on the announcer and all that, like, you know what I mean? Only for Arsenal to come back and win 2-1. You know, they don't learn. The gift that keeps on giving.
They are, mate. They're the gift that keep on
giving. Guys
giving.
from I Am Tottenham TV, you know what I mean? Yeah. Said to us on a show, your players will melt at the atmosphere, the hostile atmosphere at White Hart Lane. I see him afterwards in a video going, I can't believe we've done been 4-1, like, you know what I mean? I'll tell you what, it's hostile. You could stick a tub of ice cream in there, like, you know what I mean? You still need a can go to open it up. You couldn't melt anything. Unbelievable. Unbelievable fan base. You know, it's fantastic, right? As I was walking down, you get the, you know, second again, ole, ole. You bottlers. They would know what that is all about. Yeah. How they can mock that, I do, you know what I mean? The one club that should keep a bit quiet about that, because don't forget, their one and only title bid. They've had it once in the Premier League history. I think the Premier League started in 1993.
92, 93, yeah.
92, 93, yeah. They've had one title challenge, coming third in a 2-horse race. They want to talk to us about all of that sort of stuff. You know what I mean? Come on. They couldn't even come second.
Oh, they are the gift to
Oh,
keep on
dear,
giving,
oh,
Tottenham.
dear.
I tell you what,
Just like, you know, and listen, and please, I urge any Arsenal fan out there, when you bump into your Tottenham mates or your friend or ever, and they turn round and say, well, what do you expect? Because I guarantee they are. We didn't expect to win, really, and all that. Give them hell. Give them hell. Because if they would have done the unthinkable yesterday, they would be giving it to you tenfold, right? I don't know if you see me Instagram today. I woke up this morning. I said, I've got, you know, that Homer Simpson one when he goes back into the bush. It sums them up perfectly. Like, you know what I mean? If you haven't seen it, go on to my Instagram, see my stories. It is what every Spurs fan does. So they've come out and back in they go, like, you know what I mean? Incredible. They're just, it's insufferable. They are really, because they, you know, and like we do fall for it a little bit. Like they make me nervous sometimes because, like, you know, Regan come up to me. I see Regan Sunday, big grin on his face, like, you're looking forward to us beating you today and finishing your title hopes. I said, yeah, of course you are. Like, enjoy the game. All right. My nephew Max, right? I haven't seen Max 6 months. Got to be 6 months, right? Because he's been working abroad now. He's back home. Messaged me Saturday night. I've got a ticket for today. He says, like, oh, brilliant. I said, you got it. So I said, we'll meet up afterwards. Be nice to see you. Yeah, okay. We'll come round and see. We'll have a meet up. All right. You know you're going to get beaten, all that, like, you know what I mean? We're going to do you today and all that. Yeah. Right. Enjoy the game. I'll ring him. Don't answer. I'll get a message from him this morning. Sorry, went home. Had the ump.
oh, mate.
I haven't seen him for 6 months. I was just looking forward to just saying hello to him, like, you know what I mean? So there you go. That's what they're like.
My mate did exactly the same. I was with Mark and brother-in-law. We got out, literally just, he gone, dropped me up the road to my car. I drove the car back. As I'm about to go into the front door, I hear this beep of a car. I turned round. My mate in his van, big Tottenham fan, he's wound down the window. Hey, Potsy, it'll be fun today when we do you over at our place. And then drove off. I haven't heard from him since. 5G must have
check on his welfare.
I was worried about him, mate. I have to report him missing, I think, soon. Honestly, it's unbelievable. Every year they do it.
This is my message. This is messages from Max. Going to the game. All right. Well, let the best team win. We need to win this. We both need to win this big time, right? Yeah. Should be a good one. Sorry, went home. That was a shit performance. The disallowed goal kill. Not the other 4 goals that we scored. Not his last 2 goals, Gyokeres. The disallowed goal killed us. That's my nephew. Dear, oh dear.
That is where it
Why?
is. That's what they're like, man. That's what they're like, mate.
I
That's
just
what
put
they're
a load
like.
of laughy faces to him, like, you know what I mean? Like, the disallowed goal killed us. Not the other 4 goals. Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear.
They are like that, bro. This is
I
what they're
like
like, man. But look, we do need to talk on some individuals. Look,
Oh, yeah.
we gotta keep our heads as well because we ain't winning this league like big by given. It's not like we're gonna win the league now because we're beating Tottenham. We do need to keep level-headed with this one, but obviously we can always laugh at their expense. Let's talk a little bit about some of the
Has
individuals,
your
mate.
mum been in Cape Verde?
They're still there now.
Oh,
Still
no,
there
they
now.
didn't get delayed, did they, with the sandstorm, did they?
No. They're
It's
all
all
right.
right.
They're all right.
Oh, that's good.
They're all good. Yeah, parents are
Lovely.
in there chilling out now, sitting,
My
listening
next door neighbour
while the
got
sun
caught
shines.
in that.
Oh,
Like, you know
no,
what I mean?
really?
Nightmare.
Oh, bloody hell.
Nightmare. At least she's
No,
all right,
no.
like, yeah.
No,
Good,
they're
good,
both all right, mate. They're both
good,
all right.
cool. Right, carry on.
No, look, I wanted to talk about. Well, I wanted to talk about a few players actually. I think Eze and Gyokeres are the 2 that I think we should start with. But there are some more. Well, it's quite a few more actually that I personally wanted to talk about. But let's start with our striker because I thought he was player of the match. For me, Victor Gyokeres was easily the best player out there. And what I really liked about his performance, Lee, was it was all I have ever wanted to see from the signing of Gyokeres. That version was the one I thought we were getting, right? I have seen him play some okay games for Arsenal. I thought he was very good against Burnley, thought he did well against Newcastle. And in some of those games where people said, oh, he was all right tonight, he didn't always score because he did a lot off the ball. And I was kind of in the boat of, no, I don't really want him just doing all that stuff because we've got that with Kai Havertz. I need him scoring. But I'll tell you what I loved was he was doing everything that I wanted him to do like yesterday. He was doing all of the man mountain focal point stuff, showing aggression, battering ram, showing his strength and power. I actually thought he was brilliant with his ball carrying, much better than he has been. Thought his first touch was much better. I thought he put himself in great positions. I thought his link-up play was good. I thought his reading of the game was excellent. He looked a hell of a lot more intelligent. He looked more confident. He looked sharper. And like you say, don't take anything away from both of his finishes. I mean, the first goal is exceptional, but do you know what? I love that second one just as much because that is the striker that I want to see at Arsenal. That goal, what he scored there, little assist from Odegaard who come on, a touch to drag it out of his feet and the finish. And the fact that he's just bullied the defence. That's exactly what I wanted my striker to be doing. I thought his performance individually, if we just stick on him for now, was magnificent, mate. And I know that people will say, finally, about time. But let's just say how it is. He was easily player of the match for me yesterday, Gyokeres.
Without that, I give him man of the match for the at the end of it, the goal. But let's be really honest about it. I'm going to say that there was 20 duels with the centre half. I reckon 16 of them he was fouled, right? But the referee said play on every single time, like, you know. There was one time he actually turned him and he just bundled him down. It's a stonewall foul, but he never got it. He never got so in that first half, he never got anything, right? But he still looked dangerous. The goal is sensational. It's one of the best North, as I said. I think I'm putting out there. Adebayo's goal against Tottenham at White Hart Lane was sensational. It was probably one of the best I've ever seen. Fabregas's one, that's up there. That is up there with him, right? You know, if you can mention any other, Rosicky was another one I think that was mentioned. Been some great, but that was up there. It was a wonderful finish. And that's the best, probably. I think Odegaard got a very, very good one there a couple of years back. But unbelievable goal. From then on, Dan, I see a centre forward of top class. The flick for the goal for Eze in the second half, the little flick, you know what I mean, was quality. His hold up play, his work rate was sensational from minute 1 to the 90th. There was no coincidence that Arteta didn't take him off. He kept him on, and rightly so. And do you know what? I think Curtis said it today, like, you know, goals get chances, strikers get chances in the last couple of minutes. He gets the chance when Odegaard puts him through. Nice little ball from Odegaard. Still had lots to do. I know that Odegaard gets assists for that, but he has a lot to do after that. Brushes Gray aside. who I think is probably their best player. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Listen, he's nowhere near international class and things like that. But he's probably their best player. I'm quite impressed with him, to be fair. But he just brushed him aside, Archie. He just brushed him aside and bang into the goal. It went, great goal. But I thought he was sensational. Work rate, everything about him. And since the turn of the year, Dan, he's turned up. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's double the amount of goals now, and he's looking good. If he can carry that sort of performance to the end of the season, we'll be very, very close. Very, very close. Because that game was 1-1. I'm not saying when we was playing really well, but what do you need then? You need your main man to, get the goal. And he done exactly that, like, you know what I mean? And I know Eze was fantastic as well, as we'll talk about in a sec. But I think that to go 2-1 up was unbelievable. And I felt that he didn't get no protection from the referee. Actually, the referee gave more protection to the defenders, i.e. that's why Gabriel got that foul rate, because there was 5, 6, 7 times the fouls went against Gyokeres. If you go back and have a look, like, you know what I mean, there was nothing in them, but he gave them against Gyokeres all the time. So he did nothing different, the referee, for the centre forward. That, if that was down the other end, he would have given a foul on Gyokeres, because he done it. But I thought he was outstanding. And do you know what made me give him man of the match in the end, Dan? Was that he went over to the Tottenham fans and and then he went over to the Arsenal fans. So listen, I thought he was sensational on the day. Really strong, powerful. And I'll tell you what, if he can play like that, he's going to be a great centre forward for us, because you ain't always going to score goals, Dan. We get that. But then what you do when you're not scoring goals, hold up play, bringing in other players. I thought he'd done that fantastically well. Didn't do it against Wolves. And do you know why he didn't do it against Wolves? Because he was isolated. Yesterday, he had Eze near him. He had Trossard near him. He had Saka a lot near to him. I think the team went up a little bit, 10 yards more. So wherever he got the ball, he had an option. And he played it really, really well. I thought he was sensational. But the one thing, he might not have been great for us in certain things. The one thing that I do think that he was, you can't question his work rate and desire. He has worked his socks off every single game, and that, that's all you can ask for. And now he's rewarding it with goals as well. So fantastic.
Yeah, facts. And in 2026, he's got the most goals. He's got more goals than any other Premier League striker. He's got 8 goals. He's got the same amount of goals in total now in Premier League as Ekatiko, who everyone's waxing lyrical about. He's got more goals than Sesko, more goals than Volta. So when you look now and you think that, this was a bit of a shambles and a flop of a signing, he's got 15 goals in all competitions in 36 games, which isn't outstanding, but it's certainly not bad. He's on track to get more than what Havertz has got in his best year at Arsenal. Let's see if he does it, you know, and let's see if he can do it come May, and we'll look back and go, blimey, 25 goals or whatever it be. That's what I will say. Look, I don't think he's an elite centre forward that's going to take us to next levels, but I certainly do think he knows where the goal is in. And let's hope now he's found his feet and he can move forward and go to that next level, because I was very impressed with him, as I was with Eberechi Eze. Now, isn't it ironic that he scored 6 goals for Arsenal in the Premier League, one against his old club, Palace, and the other 5 had come against Tottenham home and away. He likes scoring against Tottenham, judges, that is for sure. But do you know what? His goals obviously were great yesterday as well, but I look at what his play was like yesterday, and I just want to see him have a bit of a run in this role now, because I quite liked him. Now, for 15 minutes, I didn't quite know where he was again. I've got to be honest with you. I thought he was a bit invisible again. But that was kind of, the whole team were a bit sloppy, I felt. The back 4 in the first 25 minutes had given the ball away at least once, every single one of them. I thought, what are we doing? This is sloppy again as hell. My mate's messaging me going, you're joking, what's going on? Then Rice obviously give that goal away. Oh, this is ridiculous. And we're all losing our heads about it. But really and truly, we were still the better side. And I thought Eze was very good. And I just like him. I just like everything about the celebrations. I liked everything about his play. I know he does look a bit casual on the ball sometimes, but I do actually think, ironically, he does quicken the ball up more than Odegaard, and he certainly drives it forward more. I think he looks to pass it forward more. I think his passing against Wigan proved that he had 2 assists where he saw them passes. I know it's against Wigan, but you've got to see the pass, and he did. It was pinpoint. And I thought yesterday he was very good again. And I just wanted to ask you about his performance, but more importantly, do you think now he'll get a run of games in that 10 position, or do you think that Odegaard and Havertz will kick him out again pretty soon?
No, listen, he's got the shirt at the moment, and now he's got to perform again next game, and that's against Chelsea. What I liked about his performance yesterday is what you quite rightly said. It was like going forward. There was a moment in the first half where it was a bit congested in there. He just turned away and just went forward. It wasn't one of those ones where you go back. He took risks. I think that was the thing that yesterday. I know we give the ball away on a few occasions, but risk and reward. You're going for a risky pass or a difficult pass, you've got to. There could be a chance that it's not going to hit his man. I felt that he was brave in everything that he done yesterday. He went forward to try, and there was a couple of times he got away from their 2 midfield players. This was 3 in there. They were very, very defensive midfield players. Broke and then laid the ball into Trossard, who I think Trossard shot when he maybe should have passed or something. I can't remember now what happened, but it was started from a turn in midfield from him. Then in the second half, then he's obviously got the goal, which was, luck or quality. I'm not so sure. You know what I mean? It's a good touch in there, good for you. But when it comes to finishing, do you know his last shot on target for Arsenal was, Dan?
The goal against Spurs.
Goal against Spurs.
Crazy, isn't it?
It's crazy. But I don't think he's had that many opportunities and whatever. But anyway, he scores that goal. In the second half, I don't know if you remember it, out on the left-hand, he got himself on the left-hand side. This was a good thing about his role. He could drift a little bit, and that's what I like. Got himself out on the left-hand side, but skinned the fullback straight away. I didn't see Trossard do that all game. Levy come on, didn't do it. He made it with it. The guy's got talent. The guy's got ability. And if we be really honest, he hasn't really sparks. But if you're playing like a good defence that we've got, 2 holding midfielders in Rice and Zubimendi, this guy can be let off the leash a little bit and express. And I felt that's what happened yesterday. Got a lot better out of Saka as well. But what I liked in that second half was the interaction between Saka and him. He got the ball. How many times in and around the box did it? Quick feet got him away, got it onto the next pass, got it there. There was a lovely move in the second half. It was so quick, Dan, I lost it. You know what I mean? Watching the game. Saka put it into him, he put it back, and Saka went through. I think it was a save by the goalkeeper. I think, he got but it was brilliant. So quick, the pair of them, you know what I mean? So he sees things, he sees openings, as you said in that game against Wigan. And I understand, I haven't seen the interview, but Mikel turned around and said that he was really upset that he didn't play against Wolves after what he'd done against Wigan, that Saka got the nod instead of him. That was a kick. But what a response. That's what you got. And maybe Arteta is thinking that, let's see what he can do and react and all that, I've got Paul over here, mate, Aussie Paul, obviously works for
Paolo, I know Paul.
He works for the Aussie equivalent to TalkSport, and he was saying, interims ask him, and it's a great insight to say if you was an interim, you ask him for can I come and work there, and he says, well, what I do then is I just leave it. I don't do nothing. And if they keep hassling me to come on, I know they want to do it. Right. And that's what you got to do as a player. Do you know what I mean? I actually was fascinated by that. I thought, I want to be too pushy and all that. No, be pushy, be whatever, you know what I mean? So I think that that was something that he had to do, and he's done it now. But listen, as good as he was yesterday and as good as certain players were in the team, as Gyokeres as well, I'm not going to get carried away because I don't really know how good or how bad, well, let's say that, I'll rephrase that, how bad Spurs were then, or how good we was and how bad Spurs were. I think we'll find a little bit more out against Tottenham. If you're saying to me now, do you think Arsenal are going to go and win the league from that performance? No, I don't. I haven't seen enough for that. Well, what I want to see now is a. But this is just for another day. I want to enjoy beating them, if you know what I'm saying. Like, but what I'm saying is going forward. I don't really know how bad they were. So when you turn around and say, right, has he got it? And he needs a run in the team. You've got to perform in that run then. So
of course.
If he plays next week,
you've got to give him enough rope and then hope he
yes, exactly.
You know?
So he's got to play against Chelsea now, and he's got to perform. If he doesn't, then it leaves the door open for Odegaard and Havertz. The other good thing about it is, which I felt, I think a lot of people felt that we wanted Havertz in the squad yesterday or in around. He wasn't. So we don't have to rush him back, like, you know what I mean? For me now, like, we've got to get him back again because we've had their two best performances with it. Well, now we've had a fantastic performance without him in that role. And that was because of Eze doing what he'd done. Like, a lot of people have been saying that Gyokeres has played well when Havertz has been there. Well, Gyokeres played very, very well with Eze yesterday. So that's the point I'm getting to. So, listen, for me, it's the same team now that starts. Will the other get chances? Of course we will. We've got Champions League games coming up after the Brighton game. We've got Brighton in midweek after. So we go Sunday. So we go Sunday and then Wednesday and then the FA Cup, I do believe, and then the Champions League. So listen, this is what he's got to do now is say, I think personally, this is what he's got to do. Say, right, this is my league team. This is my Champions League team. This is my FA Cup team. You know what I mean? And go it from like that. But listen, I think when you look at it like Lewis-Skelly come on and done exceptionally well yesterday. And I have to say Odegaard, when he come on, done good. You know what I mean? So it may be Odegaard's role is that role, you know what I mean? Like Eze opens them up, gets the goals and everything like that. And then Odegaard comes on to just keep everything neat and tight. I don't know, Dan.
You make a good point, Lee, about Eze was annoyed about Saka starting against Wolves. He comes on with that performance. Odegaard needs to show he's annoyed that he's not in this side.
100%.
Why he's got to get here. This is what competition for places is all about. And look, on that point, it's a nice segue to a few more positions that I wanted to talk about that I was pleased with performance-wise yesterday. I'll start with David Raya. I thought he was back to his best, Lee. I really did. I thought he was absolutely brilliant yesterday. Yeah. And he's been flapping for a few games. Let's have it right. I think he was it was like watching David Raya in his best sort of form. Not only was his distribution really good, his brain was working back again very well. I thought he was excellent shot stopping. I thought he saved some really good chances. Excellent from the Richarlison one that went through his legs. He just scored from the line. That was absolutely outstanding, to be fair to him. And he was definitely back to his best. When it comes to command of area and his cross collection and distribution, we've got someone on our hands here that's top quality, mate. He really is. So he deserves a mention. The other player I think deserves a quick mention is, I think, our most consistent player in the last 5 games, Piero Incapio, mate. I think he has been so consistently good now for the best part of 5 or 6 games. Where Arsenal as a team haven't been great, he's probably been one of the only ones you could walk away with your head held high. Obviously, against Wolves, he was great with the goal. Against Brentford, he was good with the assist. Thought he was excellent against Chelsea in the second leg of the Carabao Cup. He was my player of the match. Against Wigan is good. I think he's a very, very good signing, and one that's going to come in now, and you'll see come May. Do you know what? Actually, he's been really good. He's been really good for us. And I know that you had your doubts about individual defensive errors and stuff at one stage, but I think he's brushed them off and brushed off the cobwebs for me and showed some form of consistency, if I'm honest. So I'm a big, big fan of what I've seen from him. I want to mention Bukayo Saka, because a lot of people have said that he's not the same player and he's not going to be the same, after the Arteta injury. And I've had my doubts and question marks about that myself. But I thought he was really good yesterday. I spoke to a good mate of ours, Andy, who we both know, and he didn't think he was great. I thought he was very good. I really did. I thought he was really a threat. I thought he looked dangerous every time he went forward. Probably should have scored for the Eze goal, but, Eze put it in the end. I was impressed with him going forward as a threat. I thought he was really good. And the other player who deserves a mention is Mr. Declan, who did that. Keep your focus. Didn't keep focus himself. And after that, I thought made up for it. I thought he worked his absolute nuts off. So Anyone else that I've not mentioned, or any comments or any of those players from you, judges?
No, listen, I thought it was a good comeback from Gabriel after the mistake as well. I think that has to be mentioned. But I'm with you on that. Raya answered all his critics, me being one of them. I thought the last 3 games he's been nervy. He's made mistakes, dropped the ball and all that, like, you know. And maybe a little bit of, I'll try to stick up for him a little bit by saying, you know, because he's been in and out of the team because of the cup games and all that, like, might have just been one of those reasons. But back to his very, very best. And so I think he got to go. That's a big response from Gabriel and Raya to do that, like, you know. And Kepi has been outstanding the last few games. Really, really good player. And yeah, he's won me over, Dan. You know what I mean? Which can happen. I don't care what anybody says. He was a little bit rash at first. I weren't quite having him, but I think like he's maturing into the role, and he's looking a really, really good player. And I think, you know, maybe myself personally, if you look at it, you got to realise he's coming from different culture, different thing. You got to settle in and everything like that. And he's getting better and better. I really do. I liked his defending yesterday. It was aggressive, and he seems to have been a little bit more composed now as well. Keeping Calafiori out now because Calafiori is fit, but he's durable as well, isn't he? Like, you know what I mean? So I've been very, very impressed with him. Like, you know, and listen, we've had like players like Monreal and playing left back and Gal Clichy and people like that. He's better than them, you know, and I've been a little bit critical. So I hold my hands up and say, and I've been, you know, Monreal was great for us. So he's doing, you know, like he's been good, very, very good lately on that, like, you know. I'm not going to really say too much about Declan because there's no more you can say about this guy. You know what I mean? Like, unbelievable mistake that he made. But I loved his response, held his hands up, took the flak, and then put in a second half performance that, you know, just was superline, unbelievable. Quiet games. If I look at players with a little bit quiet, this was, but nothing against it for being quiet. Was Zubamendi? I thought he done okay, but nothing special. Trossard, and I felt Timber looked a little bit leggy. I have to say that to what I normally see of him. Still done okay, but not to the standards that he's been set with. I think this week comes a really good time for him now to just have a few days off, recharge the batteries, and go again, like, you know. But and I think you got to, you know, give it to Mikel on this one. There's been a lot of pressure, a lot of talk over this week, like, you know. If we'd have lost that game, do you imagine what was going to have been going on, or drew that game? I thought he handled himself fantastically over these last couple of days. Come out, said it how it was, said to you exactly what he said the right things. Didn't sugarcoat it, did he? Said it wasn't as bad as what it was. Told you how it wasn't acceptable. Said what he was going to do about it. Told us what he was going to do. Said the team was going to perform. Said the team was going to show its colours. It done all of that.
Yeah,
so
it did.
You have to say fantastically well, like, you know. And listen, if you'd have said to me at the end of the day, like, let's be really honest, me and you have had chats and all that, like, and we both sort of said, oh, this could easily be a draw. If one of us would have turned around and said, oh, we're going to win this 4-1 and all that, you'd have gone, oh, no, I'm not having that.
Yeah.
So go and do that. And probably even, if I be really honest, it should have been more. It should have been more. You have to say, like, you know, fair play to the manager and everything that they're there. Those players are up for it, but they've got to be up for it now for another 10 games now, Dan. And if they play to that, I honestly don't think we'd drop another point if we went to that sort of way. So they've got that. They've got to do it. They've got to go. I like what I see yesterday as far as like going for the game. You know, we went 1-0 up. All right, we went 1-1. Straight onto the front foot again. We went 2-1 up. We went for 3-1. When it was 3-1, we didn't sit back. We went 4-1. That was what I want to see, and that's what I want to see from Arsenal in the next few weeks leading into that. No fear. Go and win this title by going and winning it, not waiting for something to happen. And I think that we've done that in the last few games. And I think that could still come back and bite us, Dan. It really could. I don't know. But we're still in a good position. got to go and do it. But that was a good start. A good start. And I don't care what anybody says. That is a difficult place. If you've never been there before, you know what it's like. It's a difficult place to go. It is. You know what I mean? Like it is. They were up for it. I can't tell you how much they were up for it. What they thought that they was going to do and all that, like, you know. And I think the first 10 minutes, they knew that they was not going to win that game. Then I do. With the way I know you might say we give away, we camped in their half.
Yeah.
You know, this was. I think everybody expected 20 minutes of hell, unleash hell. You know what I mean? Like in our Gladiator, like they didn't, because we never give them the ball. When we did give them the ball, we won it back straight away. They couldn't get out of our half. Listen, it was a very, very good performance against a very, very poor side. We'll have to say that. But at the end of the day, so were Wolves, a very, very poor side. And we didn't do ourselves justice. We did yesterday, and thankfully we did it against them.
Yeah, look, just to come to a close, we'll touch more on the Chelsea game and look ahead to that on Thursday with the boys. But I'll be honest with you, I think he needs to take off the handbrake now and take the shackles off Mikel Arteta. And I think he needs to do what we did in 23-24 league. Do you remember when we went on that kind of last few runs, back last 16 games, I think it was, where we only dropped points to City and Villa and we won all the others, but we didn't just win them. We were winning them convincingly, 4s, 5s, 6s past teams. We can do it. He is that manager that can do it. He's just chose not to. And now I think he needs to choose to do so. And I think starting by doing that against Tottenham, to go and win this league, I think he's got to take the shackles off and stop trying to win 1-0 and 2-1. And I think if he does that and he takes off the shackles and we start to put in 3s and 4s and 5s past team, then that'll bring momentum to what we can go and do, which is win this league and then have a real good crack at winning one of the other trophies as well. If we do try and stick with the old St. Mikel tactics of let's try and win 1-0 from a corner, I don't think that is the way that we should be trying to go and win these trophies. I think we've got players that can express themselves. And I think the best football we play is when we are free-flowing and attacking. Yeah. And the games I've enjoyed so far this season, like yesterday, was against Tottenham 4-1, Bayern Munich 4-1, Atletico Madrid 4-0. We've seen 9 goals go past Leeds, home and away. I've seen some good football from Arsenal this season. I haven't always seen it. And I need to see the good football now. And I think he knows now. I think he knows we can't be doing this 1-0 and then shit ourselves against Wolves and Brentford and draw games.
Yeah,
we've got to go all out now. And we've got to go and show that we can play this football and be attack-minded. And I think you'll see that now in the coming weeks. I pray that we see it now. I think he knows now, Lee, he's got to.
Yeah, I think he does. And I think you're dead right. And I think that I think now we're the second highest goal scorers from open play now. Same amount of goals scored as Man City. So we added to our goal difference, if you want to, by three yesterday, which was really good. Or I think it was 2 because they won as well. So I know we added to it. I don't know how many was. I'm going to look that up now. A plus goal difference of 4 goals now. That's a good, healthy 4 goals. You know what I mean? Like, listen, that can change around very, very quickly. But I do think that was very, very important yesterday to because it could come down to that one draw and then we're on level points. Dan, like, do you know what I mean? So I think goal average could come into it now. Like, so I think that we've got to look at that. We looked at it yesterday and went for the goals. Done very, very well. So listen, I think that we need that change. We need to just go like. For it now, and I've looked at our fixtures. We've got 10 fixtures now. That come on, there's one game in there that you can turn around and go, all right, the Man City game away from home. That you think, well, maybe the others, like we're all in Chelsea, right? I think that other than that, they're all teams in mid-table or down the bottom. Dan, come on, we've got a great chance to force this home. So I think that as I say, like, listen, let's win the game. Let's just go on to the next game and see where we are and go from there. Look, football.
Yeah, we've got a nice little month coming up, because I say nice, it's a worrying month coming up, but it's a nice month. We've got Mansfield in that time. We've got 2 Champions League games in that time. We only actually play now, until that cup final, we only actually play 3 league games, and that's against Chelsea, at Brighton and Everton.
Yeah.
So let's just enjoy it game by game, and let's see how we are moving along. Let's not get too carried away by thinking Arsenal are back and that City are scared. And it's nothing like that. City are not scared. Trust me. You speak to City fans, they're not scared. They got a real good chance. They think they should be dead and buried. I had so many Man City fans saying to me, "Why did you not just stick the knife in us and put me out of my misery?" And now they're like, "Christ, you brought us back to life. What did you do that for?" So let's go kill him again, man. We've got to kill this team off. This is not a Manchester City that, we should be scared of. So let's go on a run,
They've got tough games as well. I don't think that, I think they've got Leeds away next. That's not easy. They've got Nottingham Forest, who are fighting for their lives. They probably win those games, but they've got Newcastle in the FA Cup, which is where they, if they want to stay in that competition, they're not going to be able to rest as many players as they would do if they played Salford and Exeter, so they will have to be a little bit stronger. Who knows what's going to happen? Then they've got the Champions League draw can throw us back.
Yeah.
We could play against each other going into that. So listen, there's a long, what are we in now? We're still in February, aren't we? There's still 8-10 weeks left of it all. But listen, the one thing I will say is, as hard as it was on Wednesday and as good as it was yesterday, at least we're still, we've got a horse in the race. How many years have we been watching and City and Liverpool maybe doing it and not really that. We've got a chance, and we've got 10 games now to show what we can do. And the nearer we get to it, the tougher it's going to get. We know that. And we'll just have to see how it goes. I looked at the game against Wednesday on Wednesday. If you said to me, "Will Arsenal win the league?" No chance. I got no chance of winning the league with that mentality. But I did see a different mentality yesterday. So we'll see how it goes. But my advice is to everybody: just enjoy your week now. Get your sleep in and all that, because Saturday night it'd be nervous time going to that Chelsea game. But we've got to go there and put in a performance. And if they put in a performance, they beat Chelsea. That's as simple as that. It was the one good thing about yesterday. We knew if we played well, we'd beat Tottenham. If we played to our ability, we know we got Chelsea. Then we go to Brighton. We know that if we perform to our ability, we'll win that one. And then we go to Everton. We know it's to be a tough, but we know we can beat them. And then we dust ourselves down and see where we are when we go. And then it's a different competition in the Champions League and of course then the cup final. So listen, we've got some good things to look forward to, Dan. You know what I mean? And it's not always going to be. It's not always going to be enjoyable. I'll tell you that now. It's not. No. It's not going to be enjoyable. Sometimes we're not going to be enjoying games. I guarantee it. But yesterday was one to enjoy, and I weren't as much pressure on that game yesterday because we've done the business, and that's what we've got to do. Don't give the opposition a chance to score in the last couple of minutes. Do what we've done there. Kill them off early, and that's what we've done yesterday. Do it again against Chelsea, and then do it against Brighton, and do it against Everton, and then see where we are from there.
Facts. I'm with you 100%. Look, it was a great day at the office yesterday. How can we not enjoy that one? Let's look forward to what is going to be a nice week off, and then we can start talking about Chelsea at the Emirates, which will be on Sunday, 4:30. Look, people, do me a favour, hit like and subscribe. Make sure that you are following the channel if you're not doing so already. I'll be live at 7 p.m. Race for Europe on Football's 12th Man. So come and say hello to us over there. We're at 7 o'clock tonight because it's Monday Night Football. Man United Everton is on at 8. So we're going to try and do an earlier show. And Lee, I'll let you say bye to everyone, mate.
When you're out there, look 4-1. 4-1 Spurs fan. Just for one of them. 4-1. Enjoy. If you see a Spurs fan, just give them a little grin and smile. Not only have we stuffed them once, we stuffed them twice. 4141. That's the code for the shirts as well. Have a great night.